Hi, everybody. It's Mike. About 11:30, about maybe 11:40 on Sunday, April 7th. And I'm kind of low energy right now because I'm tired. It's been a long day, pretty good day, actually, but a long day. My bike is actually over here because I rode it today, which is a nice thing. I haven't ridden it for a long time, but I rode it to a tutoring lesson a couple miles away. Rode it so I could get lunch for Kira and me. Today we built furniture. Well, Kira built furniture. I took furniture apart, the old furniture. But that was kind of a nice thing to be able to do. And I don't know. It was a pretty good day. It was a pretty good weekend. Just felt like I really got a lot done. Um, the reason why I'm doing this is because once again, I'm reminding you all about the overnight walk, the Out of the Darkness overnight walk that I'm going to be participating in on June 22nd, 2019 in Boston. And once again, if anybody's interested in participating with me, I would love to have you along. I'm happy to talk to you about that in terms of what specifically to do. But everybody else, at this point, I'm going to start with the campaigning to see if you can help me out to raise money and awareness for AFSP, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, because it's quite an important organization. But I do actually wanted to talk about something else as well. This weekend, I took a look at a tweet, which was retweeted from my friend Kala, who's absolutely amazing. And then I had mentioned it and discussed it with another friend of mine, Dallas, and she was able to find this as well. So I was able to reread it. It's an article by Anna Borges, and it's called I am not always, let me pull this back up. I'm not always very attached to being alive. And it talks about chronic passive suicidal ideation. Now, what that means is that we're talking about suicidal ideation that's not just, we have a plan and we're going to then try to die by suicide. It's more along the lines of this is something that happens more, not more often than not specifically, but this is something where, sometimes you have those feelings of not wanting to go on, that pain is still there. And instead of being in absolute danger at that point, it's more along the line of you're able to figure out ways to cope with it. I still have that. I think it's kind of hard to determine, but I'm not in danger. And that's one of the things which is important to really say about this is that I think part of it is really finding those coping mechanisms that will help out. Coping mechanisms, which I wrote about in my 13 Reasons Why I'm Still Alive blog post that is still on my Twitter feed. But I think that, part of it is being able to have, your stopgap measures, your crisis hotlines. For example, the crisis text line at 741-741 is still like something which has really saved me on different occasions. Being able to have a practitioner like a psychiatrist who has been able to help me out with meds to be able to get me kind of like from a sitting or a lying down position to a standing position. Therapists and therapy that seems to help out too. Those are coping mechanisms to be able to get through this. And it is a symptom of my anxiety and depression. I guess I'm saying this because it's important to know that this isn't something that just gets cured. This isn't something where, once I was suicidal, but now I'm free. Yay. This is something which takes a while. It's something which is very much individualized for each and every person. And even though I have good days like today and a good weekend like this entire weekend and good times, I mean, last week I was traveling all over the South and getting research done, and things were absolutely amazing. It doesn't mean that sometimes, there may be feelings which are, I guess, just it's hard to say if it's pain or just lack of a drive to be able to get things done. And just, that may exist, but it doesn't mean that, I'm looking specifically at that point to die by suicide. And I think that that's where a lot of people are at. There's a lot of gray area there. It's not just a flip on and flip off switch in terms of like, am I going to want to die by suicide or not? It's not something like that. And I think that it's important for us to realize that, there are a lot of people out there who may feel the same way too, that this is something which seems to affect them. I'm sorry for rambling so much, but it's kind of late and I'm kind of tired. But yeah, something to think about there. The Anna Borges article, I'll put a link over to it. But in the meantime, the AFSP overnight walk is still something which is very, very important for me because I think that it really takes a look at a lot of these issues. It takes a look at the education and advocacy, and really just assistance to be able to help out those people who are affected by suicide and suicidal ideation. So um, I would say, two things. Number one is the last video that I put up. I said, if anybody wants to participate with me, I'm still very, very happy to have you. Please let me know, and we'll work something out. I would love to walk with you. Number two is that I'm going to start really plugging the page and trying to see if you all can help me out financially to be able to raise money and resources for the AFSP with this. And we'll start the same way that we did beforehand in terms of being able to recognize people. So I guess what I'll start with is $25 is going to be any kind of mention of you on social media, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, whichever you prefer. And I'll tell everybody how we know each other and just give you just a very public shout out if you'd like that. From there, I would say that I think it's $50 is what I had next, is to be able to give you a haiku of your choosing. So basically, it's just me with a haiku, the 575 type. So, I love those. I think limerick is 75 probably. I'll have to write all this stuff out. 100 is a profile picture of you and me, which means either you and I have been in a picture, or you'll be able to see my wonderful photoshopping skills, so I can get the picture of the two of us. And maybe the picture of the three of us, if, for example, one which I've had my brother is of me as a kid and then me as an adult, which is a little bit creepy, but these things happen there too. 150 is where you can sponsor a mile of the 18 miles that we're going to be walking on June 22nd. And I'm happy to, at that point, do a live broadcast during that mile, and just, thank you with that. And I believe that it's 250 is if you want to sponsor a mile or more than 1 mile, then I can certainly, be able to hold up pictures or wear a picture or of anybody, of basically just have your name on me. I'll be your walking billboard there. And then, of course, I'll also broadcast live, and I'll talk about whoever you want me to talk about. If it's somebody who you're commemorating who has struggled with suicide or suicidal ideation, if it's somebody who died by suicide, if it's somebody who's really been brave and been able to really do some absolutely wonderful things as well. But yeah, I'll put this list up, but I want to try to make it fun. I want to try to make sure that we're able to really, raise money and raise awareness for this thing. It really means a lot to me, and I really appreciate you all taking a look at this. I'll probably post more videos later on as things go, and they'll probably be just about as rambly as this one, because that's what I do. All right, have a good night and donate money.